Hey you guys, Vallivon The Perfume Don back at you with a very important video that you really need to know as we delve deeper, as we're growing together, as we're learning about different fragrances. I'm going to be using some terms that you're like, what does that mean? I'm still learning what everything means. And if you know more than me, comment below. Let's start a discussion or correct me. That'll be awesome. But yeah, today we are going to learn about different fragrance terms that you will see as you're researching, as you're learning, and it's really going to help you on your journey to have your own personalized, customized collection. So again, I'm Vallivon The Perfume Don back at you with another video. If you like fragrance, if you like smelling good, go ahead, join my Perfume Mafia by hitting subscribe, like, share this with someone else that really likes fragrance or needs to learn about fragrance, because this is going to be a really good one for them. If you want to communicate a little bit more, if you have more questions for me, you want to know about my insights, hit me up on Instagram. It's Vallivon The Perfume Don, and let's get into this video. So the first term that I use quite often, that I know a lot of people always ask me, they're like, what the heck does that mean? What does it mean? Is going to be aldehydes, okay? Aldehydes, I'm going to be looking down because I'm going to read to you the exact definition. I'm not so good to where I have everything memorized in my head. And then I'm going to try to share with you a few from my collection so that if you've smelled those, you can begin to form in your mind, okay, that's what this term or like note or whatever really smells like. Natural, so the group that is in is natural, synthetic, popular, and a little bit eccentric. They say weird, but it's a little bit eccentric. It can kind of lean so many different ways in fragrances, and whenever I want to be a little bit on the wild side, a little bit different, a little bit more interesting, I'll wear something that has an aldehyde. So the odor profile, it says that it's a vast group of components of organic origin reproduced in a lab. This is really something to point out. This is not something that you smell in nature. This is produced in a lab, okay? In perfumery parlance, by aldehydes, we mostly refer to an fatty aldehyde. Those used in a reference that string in Chanel number 5, Chanel number 22. Love that one, the new line that they came out with. Lancome Arpege, Estee Lauder White Linen, and other classics as such. And there's going to be a few more that I'm going to list to you. These aldehydes provide a soapy, it's going to be soapy, waxy, can be, lemony, light floral, think more white floral than heavy heady, effect to a formula, and they're used to classify a fragrance as aldehydic, okay? So aldehydes in a fragrance. My two favorite aldehyde fragrances are going to be one I talk about all the time. This is Byredo Blanche. To me, in this fragrance, I can see how they say soapy and a little bit waxy. It smells mineral. It smells very fresh, clean, almost like rain, that type of scent. Very starch, minimalist, and very unique. It almost smells like if you try to recreate a fresh scent in a lab. That's how this smells. But it's one of my favorites, and I talk about it all the time. If you want a more in-depth review, I do have that on my channel of Byredo Blanche. But yeah, really good scent. And this one, aldehydes lean soapy. That's typically how I like aldehydes the most. So yeah, Byredo Blanche. The next one that we have from that family of when you say aldehydes is going to be, it's Chanel number 5 Low. Love this scent. I haven't been wearing it much, but I have been plotting on this one for some time. Again, if you've ever smelled Chanel number 5, that one has aldehydes in as well. But this one just smells a little bit more like lemony, floral. I would just say more like citrus, uplifting, light white floral, and soapy. Very soapy, very clean. And that's the aldehydes in this scent. So if you see that in fragrance notes, you're like, oh, I wonder. Typically, it's going to make it a little bit more soapy is what I have found in fragrances, okay? Okay, the next term that we're going to go over is a term that I'm still learning about, but I found that I quite like it a lot. And I'll tell you some key indicators to where when you hear this word, these are the things that should pop into your mind. So we're going to be talking about oud, okay? What is an oud fragrance? Now, typically, I'm going to read you the exact definition, but typically when I hear a fragrance is oud, it's going to smell very, this is going to sound a little bit stereotypical, but very Middle Eastern. So think about incense, think about smoky, think about a little bit spicy, very woody, okay? Emphasis on the woody, but very, very much so like a spicy, woody, think Arabic Oriental kind of scent. Okay, and I'll share with you one that I have. So on this site, it says that oud is the most expensive and desirable perfume ingredient in the world. It always smells very rich, very elegant to me, just like it smells like wealth. It has an intoxicating, musky scent that can be quite potent and has been used for centuries in India, Southeast Asia, and the Middle East. Today, many perfumers in the West are using it as a base to create some amazing fragrances, and I totally agree. It adds such a beautiful element. I know that Lancome's been using it a lot in their niche line, House of, I think, what is it? House of Oud? I believe that's the name of the brand. Of course, in the name, they have some really nice fragrances where they combine the oud base with other nice things like raspberries or juicy elements, and it just, God, it's beautiful. So right here it says, what is oud? Oud comes from the wood of a tropical agar tree, okay? It includes, it's from 15 different species, this tree is. The tree is believed to have originated in a region of India before spreading to populate Bangladesh and much of Southeast Asia. So Southeast Asia, Middle Eastern. The wood chips off the tree are often burned as an incense, and it's common for them to be used during religious ceremonies and various celebrations throughout Southeast Asia and the Middle East, including and also including China, Japan, and India. Now for the scent itself, Arabic oud is what I like to call it. It's a warm, they say it's a warm sweetness mixed with woody and balsamic notes. Stay tuned, we're going to talk about that too. It's very aromatic and complex. That's mostly what I get, woody, spicy. As with many other expensive perfume ingredients, there's synthetics ouds produced, and that's usually what you're going to get if you're purchasing a designer scent. Many legitimate ouds are going to be very expensive and come from niche brands and probably run in a couple of $100 on up range, okay? So many ones that are more accessible in designer scents that you see are going to be synthetic. Compared to naturally produced fragrances, naturally produced ouds, these are nothing short of, this person says there's nothing short of a disappointment. We're not going to shame people. Synthetic oud, they say, tends to be a little bit more leathery, oudy, sacrificing warmth and sweetness and balsamic notes for the price point. That's another discussion. But I'll share with you what I have in my collection that is an oud scent. So this is Oud Ambriose from Lancome. Oud Amber. And this is just, it smells very, very woody. Ooh, it has a lot of depth, very elegant, and it smells like when you're burning incense. It smells like a rose incense is being burned to me. So this one, I just have like a little sample of Oud Bouquet. Both of these from Lancome are like really good representations if you want to get into like that incense, woody type scent. Definitely check these out. So it's Lancome Oud Amber. I think it's Oud Amber, but that one's called Oud Ambrose. Okay, so the next one that we have is going to be a Chypre scent, okay? So I have two representations, but I'll get into how they really smell. So if you smell a Chypre scent today, you're probably going to think, oh my God, this smells super old. This smells like 80s. It smells like early 90s. These used to really be in style in the 70s, I think throughout the 90s. And that's when the format of like what people really want in fragrances really changed. And the most representation that I can find is going to be, to me, it smells sparkly. It smells very, very floral. It smells like a zing in the nose. And I would say even borderlines on a little bit spicy, very earthy to me as well. So let's get into the definition that they have here. So Chypre scents, fragrances, they're warm, they're dry. They're almost all built around a woody, mossy accord of bergamot, oak moss, patchouli, and rock rose plants. Elements of flowers, fruits, or woodiness are sometimes played up in Chypre fragrances, and I'm going to share with you a few that I have in my collection. So the first one that I have is going to be from Cabotine de Gres. Wow, this is totally an earthy smell. Smells super green. It smells like it's just like really uplifting, very fresh. super floral and very much so like that sparkly element of a Chypre scent. The other one that I have is going to be from Chanel number 5. Now, everyone, this is like the premier Chypre scent. This one leans a little bit more like on the floral side of Chypre, but still that sparkly element that's a little bit heady and floral, sparkly to me. So yeah, these two are the main ones. If you smell either one of these, you have been introduced to a Chypre scent. Now, the last one that we're going to talk about today is going to be Gourmand. I know I talk about it all the time, and I think people already know this is like the most introductory. If you have like a lot of knowledge, you already know this one. But if you haven't heard of it, Gourmand, I went over in a little bit in another video, but Gourmand is going to be a fragrance that's a little bit sweet. I call it sweet. I call it a fragrance that usually has vanilla, caramel, or like sometimes a chocolate, but a chocolate, again, it can lean a little bit bitter here and there, but definitely vanilla and caramel are going to be the most used Gourmand fragrances. So I'll read to you the definition, then I get into you some fragrances that I have, but I have an entire video dedicated to sweet Gourmand scents. But this says, Gourmand fragrance is a perfume consisting primarily of synthetic edible gourmand notes, such as honey, chocolate, vanilla, or candy. So like any kind of candy, like Skittles, hard candy, those kind of things. These top and middle notes, typically, it's hard to do a base note of Gourmand. Well, actually, no, because you could do caramel, vanilla. Those are really prominent. Chocolate as well, as I mentioned in the Gucci Glamorous Magnolia. But they say here, top and middle notes can be blended with non-edible base notes such as patchouli or musk. And they're also described as foodie fragrances. They can be both feminine and masculine. Typically, they lean a little bit more feminine, but men enjoy them as well. They say on here some of the most popular ones are going to be Thierry Mugler's Angel, launched 1992, where it's at. That they said that this is the most modern and like the first Gourmand scent. So this was like transitioning out of the Chypre, where you wanted to have like a very heady floral, sparkly scent, and then they kind of transitioned into like more of like a Gourmand sweet scent in the 90s, and Angel was to credit towards that one. They say another one is going to be actually all of these I don't agree with, so I'm not even going to list them. I'm just going to let you know what mine are. They also list Jessica other Gourmand scents that are not scented but also flavored, such as Amaretti's line of perfumes or Jessica Simpson's discontinued dessert treats. These scented products also included lip glosses, dusting powders, and lotions, where they smell good, but you can also eat them. The ones I'm about to tell you about are going to be only scented, okay? So the one, oh my God, I talk about this all the time. This is Pink Sugar. It smells like literally burnt sugar. Super sweet, smells like cotton candy, but it has that caramel note in there that is just super sweet and so enjoyable, and totally the definition of a Gourmand scent. There's nothing in there combined with this scent that's going to make it anything but sweet. You don't get a lot of floral, you don't get spicy, woody, nothing. Super sweet. So if you see a Gourmand fragrance, just know it's going to be super sweet. If you don't like that, run the other way. The next one that we have is going to be from Ariana Grande. This is Sweet Like Candy. Of course, by the name, you know it's going to be super sweet. But again, this is more of like a fluffy cotton candy kind of scent. But I love it. Ooh, so nice. Yep, that's what it smells like. It smells super sweet. But that's what you're going to get if you run into a scent that says that it is Gourmand. They also say that Gourmand is considered a subcategory of the modern family of fragrances. Gourmands also may work into a combination with fruity scents, but I don't see that often. Usually it leans a little bit warmer. But that's my interpretation. If you have any more questions, or if you want to see a part 2 of this, where I go over other different fragrance notes or terms or definitions that you're unfamiliar with. Let me know. Leave them below. What are you questioning? What do you want me to go more in depth about? And again, follow me on Instagram if you like fragrance or like smelling good. And I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.